Okay, so let's get right into it. For any couple, this is one of the biggest questions you can ask, right? Should we move in together? It's a massive milestone, and today we're going to break down all the pros and cons, really look at both sides of the coin.
So, is it really the ultimate relationship test? You know, a smart way to do a trial run before a huge commitment like marriage. Or is it a move that's just loaded with unexpected problems? That's the real question we're digging into here.
All right, let's kick things off with the good stuff, the case for moving in. Why do so many couples decide to share a front door key? We're going to explore all the reasons why this might actually be the perfect next step for a relationship.
Now look, we all know the financial perks are a big deal, and we'll get to that. But the real argument for moving in together, it goes so much deeper than just splitting the internet bill. It's really about getting a genuine peek behind the curtain at what your future together would actually look and feel like.
This is where it gets real. When you're just dating, let's be honest, you're usually getting the highlight reel, the best version of your partner. But when you live together, you see everything. Their actual daily routines, how clean they really are, their sleep habits, and the big one, who actually does the chores. It's this completely unfiltered look that tells you if your two lives can truly blend into one.
And that leads right into this idea of the ultimate compatibility test, because living together is exactly that. You can't just storm off to your own apartment for 3 days to cool down after an argument. You are forced to learn how to handle conflict and manage stress as a team in real time. It's constant practice and compromise, and you find out pretty fast if your relationship can handle the boring, everyday challenges of life.
And yeah, of course, there are these huge upsides. On the financial side, sharing rent and bills can be a total game changer. But emotionally, just being around each other more can be massive. All that extra time together has the potential to seriously deepen your connection and trust. You're building this powerful support system right there in your own home.
But you knew there was a but, right? It's not always sunshine and shared Netflix accounts. So now we have to flip the coin. It is absolutely crucial to look at the potential pitfalls, because this is where things can get seriously tricky.
The idea of moving in together is always so romantic, isn't it? More time together, building a future, but the reality can sometimes be a pretty jarring wake-up call. It's definitely not always a smooth ride.
I love this chart because it leaves out the disconnect so clearly. You go in hoping for a deeper connection, but what you might get is a false sense of security. You think it's the natural next step, but it could actually just lead to getting lazy or complacent. And that idea of a trial for marriage, sometimes it just puts a whole new kind of pressure on the relationship. Oh, and those financial savings, they can become a complete financial nightmare if you break up. And this gets to a really critical point. Being comfortable isn't the same as being committed. The relationship can start to feel good enough, and that can lead to complacency. It stops you from having those tough conversations about a real formal commitment. It gives you this false sense of security where you just assume you're on the same page about big life stuff, like values, career goals, or kids, when you've never actually talked about it. And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. A regular breakup is tough, but breaking up when you share a lease, a dog, a couch you bought together, that is a logistical nightmare. Suddenly you're tangled up financially, but you have none of the legal protections that come with marriage. Things like dividing property, inheritance, or even just dealing with insurance. You've also got this pressure cooker effect. Moving in can shine a giant spotlight on cracks in the relationship, maybe before you're even ready to deal with them. And without that solid, we're married, we're in this for life framework, tiny issues can blow up into huge fights. And then you might even have to deal with family who doesn't approve, which just adds another layer of stress to the whole thing.
So, after hearing all the good and the bad, what's the final verdict? If you decide to go for it, how do you actually make it work? Let's get to the bottom line. This quote really says it all. It can be an incredibly valuable way to test your relationship. You're gathering real-world data on what a life together would be like. But, and this is a big but, it is not a risk-free decision. Going into it blind is a huge mistake.
So how do you lower those risks? Well, it pretty much boils down to these 3 things. First, you have to communicate openly about absolutely everything: money, chores, your future, your fears. Second, set really clear expectations before the moving truck shows up. Who pays for what? What are the non-negotiables? And third, respect each other's boundaries. Just because you share a space doesn't mean you don't need your own space.
And that really brings us to the final question you have to ask yourselves, the big one. Is moving in together a genuine rehearsal for marriage? A real step toward a shared future? Or is it just
A way to delay making the actual decision about where this relationship is going? The answer to that question might just tell you everything you need to know.